Now, I have had the chance to interview Don Jr. over the years. He's always taken pride in being a family man and spoken glowingly of his wife and children. This no doubt is a tough time for the Trump family, including the president, who is very close to Don and Vanessa's children.
Once, Vanessa Trump lived quietly in the shadows of America's most talked about family, unnoticed, silent, and calm.
Celia, good morning to you. The couple confirming this in a statement we're about to show you, the couple filing for divorce in Manhattan Supreme Court.
Suddenly, everything has shifted. A mysterious social media post, an unexpected new relationship, and quiet rumors only she could confirm have now pulled her into focus. And yes, they actually split some time ago. To me, that was honestly unfortunate because I think they're both genuinely good. Don and Vanessa, why now? What did she witness, and what might she be planning? Vanessa Trump was always a quiet figure in one of the most watched families in the nation. During years of political chaos and constant media noise around the Trumps, she chose to stay away, never speaking out, never seeking attention. But today, that silence has started to crack. Small moves, a change in vibe, and perfectly timed appearances suggest the woman who stayed quiet for so long is ready to step into the light. And if that's true, we're left asking the question, why now?
And they broke up, quite a while ago, and which was to me very sad because I think they're both great. Don and Vanessa.
Vanessa Hayden, before she became a Trump, wasn't born into fame or politics. She grew up in New York City's Upper East Side, a place known for its wealth and exclusivity. Her father, Charles Hayden, worked as a respected lawyer, while her mother, Bonnie, owned a modeling agency. This gave her early exposure to two very different worlds, one rooted in law, the other in image and fashion. Instead of heading into law or politics, Vanessa leaned into the world of glamour. By her teens, she was signed with Wilhelmina Models, a well-known agency. She walked runways, did catalog shoots, and even landed fashion features. People from that time described her as graceful, always aware of her image. She wasn't loud and didn't need to be. Her presence spoke for itself. Her short time in acting included a brief role in the 2003 film Something's Gotta Give, starring Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That appearance wasn't a push toward Hollywood. It felt more like a social moment, just another way to be noticed without saying much. This pattern, being visible yet private, would define Vanessa's future life. Things took a big turn when she met Donald Trump Jr. in the early 2000s. Their first introduction came through Donald Trump Sr., reportedly at a fashion event. Though the connection didn't spark immediately, they eventually dated. By 2005, they were married in a high-profile ceremony at Mar-a-Lago. The wedding got heavy media coverage, complete with gold-trimmed plates and celebrity guests. It looked perfect from the outside, but their relationship always had contrast. Donald Trump Jr. was loud, political, and often caught in controversy. Vanessa, by contrast, was quieter, more traditional, focused on family. She took her role seriously, raising 5 kids while staying out of the spotlight. Throughout the marriage, Vanessa mostly stayed silent. She didn't start any businesses, write a memoir, or try to build a personal brand. She avoided politics, stayed off social media, and never promoted herself. While figures like Ivanka and Melania were center stage, praised and criticized, Vanessa kept her distance. But her silence wasn't weakness, it was a conscious choice. In a family that uses attention like currency, her decision to stay private stands out. She wasn't seen at every rally, she didn't show up in political photos, she skipped interviews altogether and avoided media completely. Still, she was raising 5 children in a world where privacy is nearly impossible. Friends close to her described her as loyal and guarded, but also a bit isolated. She clearly tried to stay away from the loud and messy side of Trump life. When the Trumps entered the White House in 2016, Vanessa didn't follow them into politics. Even as part of the presidential family, she stayed in the background. She made no statements, she made no appearances. She remained totally silent. While Vanessa stayed quiet, stories about her husband began to circulate. Reports of cheating and long absences became tabloid headlines. By 2018, things came to a head when she filed for divorce after 13 years of marriage. Yet again, she didn't speak to the public. No interviews, no statements. She chose privacy, going through the process legally and with total discretion. This kind of control is rare, especially in public breakups. She filed for an uncontested divorce and quickly moved things to a private courtroom. Legal experts believe this was to protect finances and her kids from public view. Her quiet strategy kept both her reputation and her children's lives intact. She didn't go on talk shows, she didn't do press, she didn't shape the narrative. She just stepped back. But that retreat might have been a reset. What makes Vanessa different is how she seems to understand the power of silence. In a world built on oversharing, her decision to hold back feels intentional. While others in the Trump circle leaned into the noise, Vanessa didn't play that game. And now, at 47, signs are showing that she might be stepping out once again. One social media post drew heavy attention and hinted at a woman reclaiming control. She hasn't launched a brand, she hasn't made loud moves, but there's something in her quiet return that feels very deliberate. So now people are asking, what's next for Vanessa? Is she preparing to share her side? Could a memoir or public role be coming? Or is she simply taking back a part of herself after years of being just a Trump in-law? Whatever happens next, one thing stays clear. Vanessa Trump does not act without thought. Vanessa never chased the spotlight. If she's stepping into it now, it's probably because she's ready and because what she has to share truly matters. In today's world of endless media and chaos, Vanessa Trump's quiet style feels almost radical. It's slow, it's careful, and it questions the idea that being seen equals power. She stayed quiet when it worked for her, and now she might be ready to use that same silence in a smarter, more strategic way. Not through loud press or bold headlines, but through quiet, clear moves that remind people she's not gone. Maybe she's even stronger than before. For years, while the Trump name was constantly in the news, Vanessa kept her distance. She gave no interviews, stayed away from politics, and made almost no public appearances after the divorce from Don Jr. That's why one Instagram post in early 2025 caught so much attention. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't long, and there wasn't even a caption. But the meaning behind it was loud. In that single repost, Vanessa Trump quietly confirmed something people had been guessing for months, a connection to Tiger Woods. This wasn't a formal announcement, there was no press release, no photo ops, no staged event. Instead, Vanessa simply reshared a post from Tiger Woods about a new charity project. At first glance, it looked like support for his cause. But for someone like Vanessa, who avoids social media, the post felt highly planned, especially when you look at the timing and who it was about. Tiger had just revealed a new partnership with Augusta National Golf Club to support a TGR learning lab and improve a local public course. The goal? To give more kids access to education and the game of golf. It was a major step in his continued push to shift focus from scandal to legacy. So Vanessa reposting that effort without words felt far from random. Rumors about Vanessa and Tiger had been floating in private circles for months. Most of the talk came from Palm Beach, Florida, where they both live and often cross paths. People at school events and charity fundraisers had noticed small interactions between the two. They were seen sitting near each other at a hospital fundraiser, and both showed up to events held by mutual friends. No moment proved anything, but the pattern of being seen together raised some questions. By late 2024, the whispers became harder to ignore. Reporters and bloggers started connecting the dots. It wasn't just that they were showing up at the same places, it was that their children also went to the same private school. This school is known for keeping things secure and protecting families with high public profiles, including celebrities, CEOs, and political names. Sources from the school said Vanessa and Tiger were friendly, but kept it professional. They didn't act like a couple, but their comfort with each other was easy to see. For two people who've lived through public scandals, that kind of caution probably isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Their way of being seen together reflected that quiet, controlled style. No confirmations, no interviews, just one quiet post. Easy to miss, but impossible to overlook. That Instagram repost mattered because of who Vanessa is, or more accurately, who she used to be. After her divorce, she stepped away from public life almost completely. Unlike others connected to the Trump name, she didn't rebrand, didn't chase fame, didn't write a book. She didn't join campaigns or try to turn her last name into a brand. So when she finally posted again after all those years, it was never going to be random. People noticed instantly, and they knew it wasn't just about the cause. In today's world, even the smallest social media move can carry serious meaning. This post felt less about the cause and more about standing beside him, both personally and symbolically. And Tiger Woods isn't anyone. He's one of the most famous athletes of the last couple of decades. His story has had ups, downs, and a full-scale comeback from personal and career crises. His early wins made him a global icon. His mistakes nearly ended his career, but his return to golf plus his charity work helped rebuild his reputation. He moved from scandal to respect. That's the version of Tiger Vanessa chose to connect with, and that says a lot. Unlike Don Jr., Tiger has never mixed himself with politics. He doesn't attend rallies, he doesn't post political takes, he keeps his stance neutral. That kind of neutrality might be what draws Vanessa, who spent years trying to stay far from the Trump political brand. If she's entering a new chapter, one that's visible, Tiger could represent the kind of presence she's more at ease with. Someone focused on rebuilding, on legacy, on long-term impact. What also stands out is what they seem to share. Both are parents to kids raised in the shadow of their parents' public lives. Both had divorces that were headline material, and both now seem more interested in protecting what's left of their privacy while easing back into public view. If they really are a couple, this isn't just another celebrity rumor. It's a shift in how Vanessa is being seen. It tells a story of someone moving towards stability, purpose, and maybe her own quiet kind of power. Within one day of the Instagram post, the media picked it up with new urgency. Some called it a quiet debut. Others saw it as the beginning of something serious. Some guessed it was a soft reset, maybe even a quiet step toward a future book, brand, or platform. A few doubted her motives, saying that her link to Tiger was more about self-image than actual connection. But no matter the reason, the result was clear. People were watching Vanessa again, and this time, it wasn't only because of Tiger. The reason behind her return matters. In the last few years, the Trump name has become even more divisive. While some in the family lean further into media and politics, Vanessa stayed out of sight. Her reappearance now, especially beside someone like Tiger, may suggest she's aiming for a new public identity, one far from Trump politics and closer to personal integrity. This idea has raised quiet alarms inside the Trump circle. Some say Vanessa, more than almost anyone, was there for the family's political climb. She knows the timeline, the decisions, the stories that never made it into the headlines. And since she's never spoken out, her silence holds rare weight. If she does speak, through an interview, a book, or just by staying visible, she could change the storyline. There's no public sign she plans to go there. But the fact she stepped out of silence, even a little, matters. It opens the door to new questions about what could follow. Is she getting ready to take on a bigger public role? Is she watching to see how people respond? Or is this simply a real-life connection now accidentally placed in the public eye? Either way, one thing stands firm. Vanessa Trump isn't hiding anymore, and she's not acting on impulse. She's moving quietly, carefully, and with room for interpretation. That's why her recent post caught so much attention. It's not just about who she might be dating. It's about what that relationship could mean. It could shift how people see her, not just as Don Jr.'s ex, but as someone in her own right. For now, nothing's confirmed. There are no press statements, and both Vanessa and Tiger are still keeping their private lives truly private. But the energy is different now. Vanessa is speaking, maybe not in words, but in the form of decisions. And those small decisions are starting to build a new picture of someone who once lived outside the frame. if this continues, Vanessa may soon become more visible in public discussions. Not because she wants fame, but because she's showing a quieter kind of power, the kind that comes from silence, from timing, and from showing up at the moment it really counts. On the outside, her marriage to Donald Trump Jr. looked solid. 5 kids, 1 name, over 10 years inside one of America's loudest, most scrutinized families. From the outside, their marriage looked too strong to break. But in March 2018, Vanessa filed for divorce, and the image of stability started to crack. What followed wasn't the typical high-profile separation. No interviews, no media outbursts, no angry social media posts. Instead, Vanessa stepped quietly out of the public eye. But that quiet exit was not by accident. The divorce was filed in Manhattan Supreme Court and described early on as uncontested. That word wasn't random. It signaled peace, respect, and no public fighting. But those paying attention knew something deeper was going on. There had been whispers for years about issues in the relationship. Don Jr.'s rising political role and his personal behavior during the early Trump years had already raised concerns. The timing of Vanessa's filing, just a year into Trump's presidency, suggested something far more personal was going wrong. Soon after the filing, old rumors about Don Jr.'s alleged affair with singer Aubrey O'Day came back. The story traced back to 2011 or 2012, while Vanessa was pregnant with their 3rd child, Tristan. Though people had heard the rumor before, its return in the media gave it new weight. It seemed like Vanessa's decision to leave wasn't sudden. It had built up over time. She never confirmed the affair. She never answered media questions. But the silence felt louder than any public statement. Aubrey O'Day never named Don Jr. directly, but the signs were hard to miss. She released a song called DJT, and in interviews hinted the lyrics came from a real relationship with someone she couldn't name. Fans connected the dots, and so did the press. Messages, photos, timelines, all lined up too closely to be easy to deny. To many, the betrayal wasn't just the act, it was the timing. A husband allegedly having an affair while his wife was pregnant and raising toddlers struck a painful note. Those close to Vanessa described her as deeply hurt. While she may have sensed something was wrong, sources said she didn't fully understand the truth until later. Her decision to leave wasn't emotional, it was a carefully planned reaction. Friends said once she had the facts, she took her time. Her exit wasn't rushed or loud, it was precise. And she didn't plan it alone. Behind the scenes, her mother, Bonnie Hayden, played a guiding role. A former model agency head, Bonnie was described as fiercely protective of her daughter. She helped Vanessa stay financially secure and made sure she kept what she brought into the marriage. Vanessa had a family trust fund, well managed and solid. Bonnie's advice was simple: guard it. Don't let the Trump name swallow what's rightfully yours. One of Vanessa's first smart moves after the filing was moving the case into a private courtroom. This step meant no public access to money details, child custody terms, or legal agreements. That strategy worked. What the media couldn't see, they couldn't twist or leak. Legal experts called it rare and smart, especially for someone so publicly known. But Vanessa didn't want attention. She wanted a clean ending. Even now, the divorce terms are still completely sealed. There are whispers of a huge payout, possibly to protect her silence or secure family interests. But nothing's been confirmed. All that's clear is Vanessa left with her dignity and her financials intact. She didn't blame anyone in interviews. She didn't go on daytime TV. She just stepped out, calmly and with quiet precision. That kind of self-control is rare in the Trump world, but for Vanessa, silence wasn't about fear. It was about keeping control. She knew what she wanted and what she didn't want to do. While Don Jr. leaned deeper into political identity, hard-right speeches, and controversy, Vanessa stayed silent. She didn't speak at events. She didn't show up on campaign rallies. She avoided commenting on politics entirely. Vanessa rarely appeared at family holiday events or major celebrations. One insider called her a shadow in the room, there, but only when absolutely needed. Her withdrawal didn't mean she was inactive. Friends say Vanessa finally began prioritizing herself after years of family chaos. Reports claim she started therapy with an expert in trauma and high-stress relationships. Sessions weren't only about Don Jr.'s affairs. They explored the toll of constant media attention, the weight of raising children in the public eye, and the pain of building a life she was forced to take apart. Her silence set her apart. While others in Trump's circle chased headlines, Vanessa's invisibility gave her credibility. She didn't share political takes or defend family scandals. She avoided interviews about her time in the White House, and that made people take her seriously. In a world of loud voices, Vanessa's quiet retreat became her power. What she avoided mattered too. She never promoted Don Jr.'s political career. She refused to pick sides during the 2020 election. She didn't wear MAGA hats or join campaign videos. Observers noticed something deeper. She seemed to be stepping back, not just from the Trump family, but from its entire brand. It felt like she was erasing her public marriage without replacing it with another image. Yet her absence sparked curiosity. If Vanessa lived through betrayal, had insider knowledge of one of the most controversial families in politics, and stayed silent for years, why? Was it loyalty, fear, or legal agreements? Friends believe it was all three. She may have signed confidentiality deals in her divorce, shielded her children from chaos, and refused to become a political pawn. One thing is certain, Vanessa is no longer invisible. She's back.